Hello and welcome back to Growing Up Awkward. Last time I started talking about ninth grade, so let's get into the rest of high school and whatever happens after that. Alright, ninth grade. Summing it up, made three friends. Two of them decided they didn't want to be my friend because of dumb reasons with the third friend. And my father died. I had a crush. I was all types of effed up. And it was my first time trying, well, I didn't say this last time, but it was my first time trying colored contacts. And it was good for the first few times that I wore them. And then I just was not putting them in right. And I was just bad at them. And they were irritating my eyes. And at some points I was looking high. I was just really stressed for all the wrong type of ridiculous reasons of my life. So 10th grade, I believe we were still in the same building. Yeah, no, maybe? I think so. Either way, that's irrelevant. So, I was yet again reset on trying to find friends because me and that friend that I retained from ninth grade had no classes together. Like, even then, back in ninth grade, we didn't have classes together. We had classes beside each other. We had one class beside each other, and that's how we knew each other. I didn't really mention this, but I'd stopped going to lunch like maybe a quarter way through through the school year, and so did the people that I called my friends before. So it was really awkward when not only did I not go to the lunchroom, but to be sitting alone at a table, but also I was in class with just me and like those two girls, and it was just awkward silence because they didn't want to talk to me, and I didn't know that at first. Instead of telling me that they're no longer my friend, they just kind of ignored me or whatever, that people do. So anyway, I would just go and have lunch in the next door room with my friend that was actually my friend because she wanted to be my friend and wasn't, salty over some stupid reason that had literally nothing to do with her. The other girl just didn't know how to handle, the hands that were about to come at her because she decided she wanted to talk ish behind some other girl's back. So in the 10th grade, I became really into YouTube. This magical thing that you're watching this video on now. Yes, I became really into YouTube. 9th grade, I was watching casually, but then I started to get a little addicted in 10th grade because, well, depression, you find some way to cope, and you cope by watching all these ridiculous humans do ridiculous things and connecting to them, even though you really don't get to talk to them and they don't reply to comments at all, and they're not really, the best interactive people, on the internet. But, it was still, like, something I loved, and I wasn't very into the big YouTubers. I was always into, like, the smaller YouTubers. So that was one thing that kept me sane. So I was in some class with some seniors, which was really cool because, yeah, again, I've been telling you guys I have this odd affinity for people who are older than me and younger than me. So it was like a mixture of both. There was one person that was a grade lower than me, and then everybody else was like a senior, and I was like a sophomore. So I got along with the seniors a lot more than I did anybody who was in that class and was in my grade. So it was really interesting because they would know so many things, and I would hear awesome stuff, and I hear things about people that I didn't know, like, gossip, and no one really gossiped to me, but like everybody was more mature to think whatever the freshmen or sophomores of that year were thinking. Yeah, well, sophomores were thinking about the other people in their grades, because I was just a cool person who was quiet. And they have matured to the point where they know that just because I don't talk to people doesn't mean that I'm shy or anything, or that I don't want to talk to people. It just means that I don't talk to people because they have been through life, and they know that you get caught up in a lot of BS and drama if you're, like, talkative. So I became familiar with some seniors and some juniors because, there was a few juniors, people up there, because I remember 10th grade was really me just finding out that I really like people who are older than me rather than people my age. So we're going into 11th grade because I already talked about 10th grade and nothing really happened. 11th grade was interesting because I had classes with some more interesting people who were in my grade, some of the more mature people, some of the people I have almost not really kept my eye on, but thought were really cool as people, even though I didn't really know them very much. And I was also in classes. I also had like these weird classes where they weren't really necessary for your passing, but they were like extracurricular almost. Like medical classes where like you could have a medical and you can have an engineering, but I was put into the medical one because I did want to be a veterinarian at this time, until I realized that college was, well, you'll hear about college when I get to college. So yeah, I was in classes with interesting people. I didn't necessarily become friends with them, but I became familiar with them, which would become a little interesting later on, especially when it came to the people of the opposite sex. Nothing really happened. It's just I got more familiar with people who I would never really talk to before, like in any other circumstance other than we had a small class and this is who I was paired with. So I was able to socialize better in those classes because we had smaller classes and they were with more seniors than there were people of my age. But also in 11th grade, I also got to know some of the freshmen of that year. I was able to, like, you know, be cool with them, later on becoming friends in like the next year. High school was a bit of a blur because most of my time was spent, anything that really happened was like real low key. Real low key in my head craziness. 11th grade, I also didn't go to junior prom because I really didn't like anybody in my grade. Though I would think it would be awesome to go because of the seniors, I just really didn't have a date. I didn't really talk to dudes. Any dudes who even kind of said that they wanted to go with me to prom, I was like, you're lying, no one likes me, I'm not going with you. Or like when people are like, hey, Sadie, want to go to prom with you? I'm like, no one says that. Look at me. I'm a nerd. That's kind of how I was seen anyway. So I didn't go to, hello Kane. So 11th grade was really just a bunch of shenanigans and things. No boy troubles really. No people who hate me troubles. I mean, they would sometimes say something slick as they walk by in the hallway, but like, I really didn't care. I didn't really have my own gang of friends at that point. I didn't even see that one friend that I seen that much because we had separate classes. And then there's 12th grade, which I feel like a lot of things happened, but not a lot of important things, you know? I had to be put in a class where, well, basically geometry, because they didn't put me in geometry the previous year because they thought that I already took it. I thought I already took it because I swear I had it on my roster. But how am I supposed to remember all the dang classes that I have, considering some of my classes aren't even like necessary for my curriculum, but they just have me in them because that's supposed to be like some program that my school has that was supposedly like some sort of special thing. I guess the only good reason to keep that school open until they shut it down like some years ago. Also, one thing about that class switching thing is that I got into, Kane, sit down. Is that I got into pre-calc when I wasn't supposed to, and I was with a lot of people from my grade. It was not comfortable. Some of them I knew from one of those other extracurricular type classes, but like I wasn't really like fond of them too much. I could sit next to them, in which I did, but that kind of effed me up a little later in life, like in 12th grade when I had to be in geometry with the one person who decides they hate me for reasons unknown, and her little groupie friend, well, not groupie friend, but she's just her friend, who understands her complete a-holeness because she herself was an a-hole to people who were her friend and people who were cool with her, and also to me. She didn't really say much to me because I was a quiet kid. I don't know if she felt a little weird about being like targeting me almost because I was so quiet and I was not fun to, you know, torture because I was the quiet person. I never ever had a opening in which people could sass me or anything. So anyway, it wasn't that bad, but it was stressful to come into class every day and make eye contact with someone you know is very hateful to you, and even if people that they consider their friends, it was, you know, not a fun time. But at the same time, I got a class with my one friend, and it was really cool because we also had an awesome teacher. I'm sorry, there are mosquitoes who decide they want to eat our faces. So it was just a really chill year for me and my friend. So with 12th grade, continuing on, I had to stop recording for a bit. This year, I guess, was not necessarily too life-changingly eventful. I guess it was in a way at the end, because I had met the person who would be my first actual real commitment actually there, not just because I thought you were cute and we dated for like 5 days in total of our breakup and get together relationship that we had. And with that person, I not only went to one prom, which was my own, I also went to their prom, so I kind of made up for the missed junior prom. And I guess the same was for him technically too, because he didn't go to his junior prom either. So that was interesting. That's when I really figured out that I was a needy person, because that's, I'm pretty sure, why it didn't work out. Because I was more of a grow old and let's get married type of person, though I honestly from the beginning knew it was not going to last because of the simple fact that we were 17. But at the same time, I wanted to treasure this moment that I had with this relationship, because I know that every relationship is literally going to be different, and every feeling that you feel for every person that you decide to get into a relationship with is going to be different. So I decided to enjoy it as much as I possibly could. Now, in all types of honesty, I did not get any type of laid at this point in my life. So I have been a virgin all the way up until this, and this did not stop any of my virginity throughout the whole relationship, which was, I guess, disappointing to me, because I'm like, this is my first real boyfriend. Where is the laid? I can't find the laid. I cannot find the laid, and I cannot get it. Where did it happen? It just didn't happen until like my recent and second relationship in most reality. I have not gotten out there, guys. I do not have a lot of people I've dated. So just to let you guys know that we were a very adorable couple to parents and people all around, because we were weird kids. That's the entire explanation of that relationship. We were weird kids. Being children. I didn't know where I was half the time. He was showing me things. Hey, look, it's the thing that you should have seen ages ago, but you never got out the house ever. Wow! That's literally it. So that lasted like a whole 5 months. And oddly enough, getting over that was like, I assumed that it would be a certain time period in which I would get over that short-ass relationship. But it was a little different because I've never been into a real relationship, so I took it a little harder than I thought it would. But at the same time, it was easier than I'm pretty sure it would be if I were to get out of the relationship that I am in now, considering that I am pregnant and engaged. And it's been like a year, guys. It's been way longer than that one. So anyway, prom was really interesting because I've never been a person to even be like a dressy person, so I had to find a dress. My mom was so adamant about finding a dress. She was like impatient constantly, and I'm like, I don't even want to look at dresses because 1, they're too expensive, and 3, because this is big enough to be 2 reasons, I don't like dresses. You heard my nut crack. That's because I was very serious about that. When I wear dresses, the prom dress type thing is not what I would look for. No, nothing long and graceful. Maybe short and graceful. Short and tight, maybe. But not, not a prom dress. And then I graduated. I'll get into college a little bit because college didn't last long. I dropped out because I hated it. Because, alright, so college, getting in there, orientation was full of people I didn't know. They still try to do that thing where they make you socialize in the orientations, and that was annoying to me because I'm like, I'm a grown woman at this point. I could be 24 and just entering college as a sophomore. Why are you trying to treat me like I am 17, which I was at the time, to be honest. So I found that a little annoying, but that had nothing to do with it. My schedule when I got it was so completely stupid and ridiculous. They were like hours to 3-hour gaps in my schedule, in which I'm like, I have to get there by bus. It's going to take me an hour to get there. So what am I going to do with that hour gap? And then I'm a short person, and then my classes were 10 minutes away for the classes that were back to back. And I'm like, I have to walk that far to get to my class. Do you understand that I am short? They just messed my schedule up always. And I wasn't even too mad about the 10-minute walk between classes, because that's just the thing, you know. But I didn't like the fact that I had 1 hour gaps and 3-hour gaps during that same day in between classes. Like, that was a little ridiculous to me. And also, I found it to be exactly like high school. It was nothing but a bunch of bratty kids, even older adults who were bratty, just, you know, being all clicked up and, you know, in their own thing. And yeah, it was annoying. And also, I got a puppy dog follower boy who was really annoying, and I liked me too much. He was like the way I was to my friends, or how I must have made someone, or how I must have made my ex feel of his relationship, because apparently this was the most annoying thing ever. They wanted to be on the phone with me forever. I never made calls in my last relationship, so like I don't know how to be on the phone with somebody, or so like that was weird. And they always, once they would find me, they would stay with me until they had to be in class. Like, I would be like, kid, I want to study alone. And you being 2 tables away is not alone. Get the fuck away. But that's not how it worked. And someone's going to make me shoot them in the face. In classes, even teachers were so narcissistic and so know-it-all-ish, and it was just the most annoying. I even had one class, they call it orientation. I call it a waste of time. I don't even think it was worth enough credits for me to even gone there. I wish I would have had a class that I would have learned something in. And then it was history. I hate history. The only way I got through history is because my history teacher was literally, she knew that this is not something you can learn. This is something you memorize. So she would give us notes, and then we could basically, sorry, my food timer's done, use those notes to then do our tests and things. So basically, we didn't have to memorize a bunch of old men's lives. So basically, I had 2 classes that I feel like were completely useless to me being in a biology major. Why did I need to know history to be in biology? Why was there a class for orientation when I just went to orientation? I bet this is a common thing, but I still feel like it's the most useless class that has ever existed in the entire history of college. And that's all I have for now, because this is going on way too long and I have food to get. So I'll see you guys next time. Subscribe if you want more, and I hope you enjoyed the double upload. See you guys.
Smoking on that dojo.